Darcy Stewart had been living alone in her home for the past 5 years. She was a respected woman in her city. She had lived with her husband for 40 years and had 2 handsome sons. Dennis and Mark left the parental nest when they were 18 years old. They wanted to live in a big city instead of staying on the family ranch. Soon they got families and children. However, embarrassed by their provincial origin, they rarely visited their parents. So when her husband died, Mrs. Stewart was left all alone. In the evenings, she was looking at photographs of her family, thinking about the reason why her children had grown up to be so selfish. The only person who visited the old woman was Pamela Gray, a local hospital nurse. She treated Darcy like her own mother and came to her every day. She also knew both of Darcy's sons. Pamela was married and had a loving husband and a little daughter. So the old woman lived in anticipation of Pamela's visits and rare calls from her sons. Over the years, Darcy's health deteriorated and she could no longer look after the house. It literally began to fall apart before her eyes. And when the rains began, the roof of the house started to leak. That's why Pamela called Darcy's sons. However, both of them refused to help as they were busy. Then Pamela's husband went to fix Mrs. Smith's roof. Darcy was very grateful to the couple and very hurt by the rejection of her own children. So several years passed. The old woman's health was deteriorating more and more, and Pamela called Dennis and Mark again. She asked them to take Mrs. Stewart to town, but again, both of them refused. Then she talked with her husband, and they took the old woman to their place. There, Pamela's family surrounded the old woman with love and care. But after a while, despite all the efforts, Mrs. Stewart died. When Pamela informed Dennis and Mark about this, they took the news rather coldly and said that they would not be able to come to the funeral. A year later, a young man knocked on Pamela's door. He brought papers from the notary. They said that according to Mrs. Stewart's will, all her property was inherited by Pamela's daughter. The family was in shock. Taking care of the old woman, they did not expect that she would leave them something. The next day, Darcy's sons also arrived at the ranch. They were unpleasantly surprised that their mother had left all her property to this family. They began to accuse Pamela of forcing Mrs. Stewart to leave the house to her. Then Pamela handed them a letter from Darcy. "Dear children," the woman wrote, "if you could not devote at least some part of your time to me when I was alive, I will not bother you with the inheritance, so I will leave it to Pamela's family, who has been taking care of me all this time. Goodbye, and please raise your children right so you don't have to go through what I have gone through." After they finished reading, both young men silently left the house, got into the car, and drove away. They realized how unfairly they had treated their mother, but it was too late.